we got a full show, and in the green room is a legend. If she hear me, she gonna start laughing. In the green room is a legend. Barbara Esquire is in the green room, so we gonna make sure we get on in time because we definitely want to talk about the African American Advisory Board. But yeah. I know both of y'all are here to discuss an issue, Kobe, with your father. And while y'all discussing, I'm going to try to bring up big shout out to Mike Lawler, giving your father a shout out in Congress. But let's get right to the story, and we could talk about what we're trying to do and the goals, and for people to understand what's going on, brother.
Sister Kobe, I need you to turn your camera and your mic on. Your mic is off and your camera is off. I need you to turn both of those on so we can see you when you speak. Okay.
She might have to log out.
I hope you can hear me. Yeah, she's muted and her picture's going in and out. So I don't know what she's doing. Her mic's on now. We just need your camera on now so we can see your pretty face while you talk. So whilst we're figuring it out,
brother Megan,
yeah, can you talk about why y'all here today and what y'all are here to discuss?
Well, yes, Kobe reached out to me about her dad. You know what I mean? Her father's a veteran. I do veteran advocacy, and basically, there's a lot of questions that I have. He recently passed, but I feel he didn't have to pass away. I think the system might have grossly failed him, from the VA to his to the ambulance to his care providers to the psychiatric folks. They all, they weren't on one accord, and because of that, she reached out to me, and this is a very alarming issue that veterans are facing, and we're starting to see what the end result if we don't step up as veterans, what would happen to we got to prevent what happened to him to happen to any other veteran in America. Right. It's really an atrocity. Kobe, would you like to chime in?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much, Black Westchester Magazine, all three of you, for allowing us to be able to come on and shed some light of this situation. Because if not my father, somebody else's father,
that's right,
someone else's loved one could go through something so horrific. Upon my father entering the emergency room, it was destined that they send him home. And everyone knows no one wants to be in an emergency room, right? Well or not. And he was able to tell them that he was fine, and they believed he was fine, and they sent him right back home into the situation of which the social worker just took him out of. He wasn't well. His well-being in his home was not correct, and they sent him home at 7:30 in the morning in a worse condition of which he went to the hospital in, wrapped in a sheet in the freezing cold with only his underclothes on. He went home, got home to be met by the roommate who grandstanded at the door and said, "Hey, this man shouldn't be here. He needs to be in the hospital." They still preceded the ambulance, and they also had a duty of care, the EMTs, to make sure that he was going back into a safe environment. They could have called the hospital and said, "Hey, this environment is not safe. It's not in order, and he needs to come back to the hospital." They didn't even do that. They laid him right back on his bed and left the duty of care on his roommate, who has issues himself and is a senior citizen. Okay, when he went to go help my dad to the restroom, he was unable to help him single-handedly. He had to use both hands with force to help him up off of his bed, took him to the bathroom, left him there. Guess what? Because he's not a caretaker. So once he left my dad in the bathroom, he forgot about him And when he went back to the bathroom, my father was collapsed in his own urine on the floor.
Wow.
He thought that my dad hit his head. He's calling me on the phone. Guess what? Because he's not a caretaker. He's not trained in lifting. He's none of those things. So what happens? He calls me instead of calling 911, where we lost vital
Right.
time. We're on the phone for over 5 minutes trying to get him off the phone to call 911. And finally, once he did get 911, the fire department came, tried to resuscitate my dad. Then the ambulance came to try to resuscitate him. Now, mind you, my dad lives off of Fordham Road. We know that's traffic heaven over there. Okay.
Right.
And by the time he got to St. Barnabas Hospital, he was pronounced dead in less than 8 hours later after leaving the hospital. Now, this in itself is a tragedy that could have been prevented.
Yes.
The
Absolutely.
organizations that work with the veterans, they are clueless to.
Can I jump in real quick, Kobe?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So what raises my what hits my radar is that you have these service providers that are willing to take this money, but they're not.
Mm.
He's a number. He's a receipt. They're not doing the work. So what I want the state to do is to get more aggressive in their audit on how they are caring for veterans. But our issues are federal issues. It's coming from the very top. And needless to say, every single president has had reservations of privatizing the VA, which is absolutely a mistake. But this president has been very bold and blunt about it. And what's happening if we don't come up with some type of, if veterans don't galvanize and start to show our face, because veteran issues is a faceless, nameless issue. So they're able to do whatever they want to do because there's no one pushing back. If veterans don't
Right.
galvanize, we're going to see more cases like Mr. Oliver Jenkins, who, God bless his soul. Mhm.
Exactly. Has there been any now? I'm loading up the video now. Hopefully, it loads up of Congressman Mike Lawler saying words in Congress, putting it on the record of what happened to your father and giving condolences to your father. Is there any movement through Lawler or any contact to bring more awareness to our elected officials, especially in Washington, D.C.?
Well,
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Kobe.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
We've been in touch with the Bronx Borough President's Office, who has been fantastic. We've reached out to Congress, and we are just continuing to push the needle. But they wouldn't even give us a simple autopsy. I'm just saying, this is
Really?
the situation. In addition, we haven't even been able to get into my father's room. The social worker has literally ghosted my family. So we couldn't get any of his documents, his clothing, nothing. Till to this day, and my dad has been gone, and we finally was able to lay him to rest on Wednesday, the 21st. After all of this, we couldn't get his paperwork. We had to get everybody on deck to help us to get his DT 214 so he can have a proper burial. It has been a whirlwind.
So
Wow.
I also started a campaign called End Veteran Poverty Now, because the root of veterans issues is poverty. Poverty is like a virus in the veteran community, and its symptoms is PTSD, suicide thoughts, unemployment, underemployment, food insecurity, just like everyone else. But it just, I always urge veterans. I'm a combat veteran. I fought in the first Gulf War. I don't run away from my exception. I run to it. Veterans are
Right.
ordinary people that have done extraordinary things. And the extraordinary thing that they done was they lift up their right hand and they swore to protect the Constitution of the United States. So with that said, I run to my exception, and I always urge veterans to absolutely to do the same. I also chair George Latimer's civilian veteran board, and I
Good,
plan on bringing this to our next meeting next month.
good,
There's
good,
got to be a
good.
level of care and responsibility, but veterans are we're disposable. Once we served, we're disposable, and
Mhm.
you know, I just find that it's an atrocity what happened to this man. But like America, we love to wag our fingers at our adversaries,
Mm-hmm.
and say that on their human rights issues. But the last time I checked, um, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, nor Venezuela has a homeless veteran crisis, but we do. So how
Exactly,
hypocritical do we look? You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly. I hope you're on George Latimore's. You're chairing,
I chair
and
that. I chair that committee. Yes, I do.
we're about to play. Mike Lawler. I hope we could, you know, instead of all this whatever's going on down in Congress, that a Republican and a Democrat can come together, right? Without the
That's right.
BS, without all the
Without
stuff that's going
foolishness.
on. Me, I call it as I see it. Without all the stuff, and get something done for the veterans. That's the way government used to work.
Yep.
I don't know, especially for the veterans, and that's something, get with Mike Lawler.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Create some oversight, create a bill.
Exactly. And I'm not going to stop until
not everything
is done.
Is right. Not everything is, we're gonna fight each other, when we have a common enemy and there's an issue that affects people that gave their lives to this country. It shouldn't be, it should be a bipartisan effort. It shouldn't be this adversary that we see in government right now.
You want to hear something interesting, Damon? Prior to Vietnam, the 50% of Congress served in the military. After Vietnam, the numbers dwindled. Like today, it's like you just have a handful. It's very spotty.
Wow.
And so
they don't get it.
we gotta really figure out too. Once upon a time, being a veteran was an admirable thing to be. But if
Right.
you press a lot of these kids today about going into the military, you know what their answer is? I don't want PTSD. I don't want to be homeless.
That's right.
And that's a very bad stigma that we're carrying.
Right.
This is the best. Right. And I
Right.
have a theory. I don't know how, I don't have enough. I have a hypothesis. I don't have enough to draw a conclusion, but I feel like prior to Vietnam, every other war before Vietnam was fought segregated. It was fought through segregation. When we got to Vietnam, it was supposedly equal rights. And I think that's where the backlash. But it's something I'm still working on and researching because I don't have enough.
Listen, I would love to have that conversation with you because
I would love to too, man. About black disparities in the black amongst black veterans and soldiers.
Yeah.
Because it's real. It definitely exists.
Right. And a lot of it has to do, that we come back to communities that lack economic development, that lack black businesses. You know what I'm saying? Like veterans will come back to the black community, to a black community that really don't have anything to basically help them. Other ethnic groups
don't have the resources.
And their family members got businesses. They got pizza parlors. They got restaurants. They got this. They got that. Black veterans come back and they're really starting at the bottom because the black community really don't have anything to sustain them. So that conversation, man, I would love to have with you and love for you to come back on and we could have that conversation because I think that's part of the recipe. That's an ingredient in the recipe of black economic survival.
Absolutely.
And, I would love it, but I want to play Mike Lawler, a Republican, giving his condolence and giving a shout out to Kobe's father.
Is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life of Oliver Ali Jenkins, a proud Bronx native whose presence left a lasting mark on his family and community. Born and raised in the Bronx, Ali came from a close-knit, hardworking family whose small businesses were fixtures in their neighborhood. Those values stayed with him throughout his life. In 1971, Ali answered the call to serve our country, enlisting in the United States Army and serving honorably, including time stationed in Germany. Like too many veterans, he later carried the invisible wounds of service, facing PTSD with courage and the steadfast support of those who loved him. Ali was gentle, kind, and unforgettable, known for his laugh, his jokes, his love of karate and Bruce Lee, and for proudly representing the Bronx everywhere he went. He was a devoted father and grandfather, a loyal brother, uncle, and neighbor, and a familiar, beloved presence in our community. He leaves behind a family who cherished him deeply, especially his daughter Kobe, and a legacy built in love, perseverance, and deep faith. May his memory be a blessing to all who knew him. I yield back.
That's beautiful. Big shout out, big shout out to Congressman Mike Lawler for doing that and putting it on the record. You know, just proves that, you know, it don't matter what side you're on.
That's right.
Humanity and decency can survive.
Exactly.
You know?
And it was a nice tribute. It was a beautiful gesture for him to even think to do something like that, you know, and I'm grateful. You know, I am eternally grateful to all those that stepped in, even Andrea Stewart Cousins' office who stepped in. You know, we had representation from County Legislator Jewel Williams-Johnson, in addition to City Council member Shane Ocean-Laurier. We had support. It's just the ones that can have the oversight. His representative from the Bronx, crickets. And this is the type of situation. Even the social workers from the SC, say it again. SUS, Services for the Underserved, the Jewish Board. They didn't even know that my siblings, they thought my father had only one child. They didn't even know we exist. Wow. They thought he was a bum. It's what they thought. He was just a bum veteran. He ain't got no body. And we just, you know, going through the motions. Like Kevin said, to his point, just a number. We don't even know how much money he got on a check. Nothing. His matter of fact, the social worker texted my sister and said, "Oh, this is how much money he got. This is what he used to get." That is not professional.
Right.
I want to say one thing real quick, and this is not Democrat, Republican. One thing I say about Mike Lawler, he understands constituent services. And regardless of what side, I've talked to several people in his district who have specifically reached out to Mondier, who had that seat before, and could not get him to come see about them. And then when Lawler got there, he helped them with their issues. He helped you before this. You were one of those people. And I say this to our elected officials, and especially some of our Democrats. I'm not going to call y'all out tonight, but some of my Democrats, because I've had conversations with y'all, constituent services is a very important thing. A lot of times, it doesn't matter who you believe, and he can love Trump and vote for all Trump's votes, but the people in his community will continue to vote for him because when they needed him for their issue, he showed up. And I hope a lot of our elected officials hear this and get this. This is the problem with politics sometimes, because when we call those who are in those positions of power, they're not there for us. Yes. We're the ones who voted them in, but they're not there for us for our issues. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that you like, no matter what else Mike does in his life, you're going to remember the 2 or 3 things he did for you. The people are going to remember the things he did for them, and the several other people in his district that he showed up for. He also, when that girl got snatched up from Scarsdale in the ICE raid, coming out of trying to get her thing, and she got sent to Louisiana. The Democrats called him, and he made a phone call and helped get that girl back to Scarsdale. And you understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that just shows that, and I say that to say because of Damon's thing, I hope we can work together. So, I hope that George Latimer does reach out to him, and I hope that they come together and they do something and work for this situation, because he has shown that he will work if you bring him the right situation. So, and that's what we need to in this divided situation we're in now, where it's this side and this side. Doing what the people need for you to do is what is the most important thing. That's I just wanted to say that.
Yes, most definitely. And I definitely want to give a special shout out to Joyce, who helped me from Austin to obtain this DD 214. I mean, the hardest form possible to get if you do not know how to get it. And no one from the veterans on down was able to help us to really access it the way that she was able to help me. So I shout out to her. It took so many people to come together with me just to get it accomplished and to make sure father was able to be not just funeralized properly, but buried properly where he deserved to be buried at, in Calverton National Cemetery, with dignity, with honor. He was able to get the taps at the service, the fold down of the flag. None of that would have been possible if I had not reached out to all of the people that we reached out to, and everyone came together to make this happen. But it took, look how long it took.
Right.
And that shouldn't be.
Well, the federal government doesn't make it easy to obtain your benefits. What they won't do is, once you're able to prove it, they'll give it to you. But they will not help you at all. You like Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald. You're on your own. You know what I mean? So,
that's how I know.
But once you're able to prove your case, they won't deny you either.
They definitely did.
Right.
Shout out to Cookie Alexander Campbell. She said, for the information and sharing, Westcott has a SSVF, Supportive Services for Veterans and Families, and we have offices in Westchester, Rockland, Ulster, and Sullivan County. We deal with homelessness as well as outreach. And then she gave her phone number. So for anybody else who may be dealing with a situation like this, if you forget the information, contact us, and I will definitely connect you with her.
And I urge all veterans to register with the VA, because there is a tsunami of cuts coming our way. In fact, February 24th, during the State of the Union, I plan on holding a Veteran State of the Union in Washington, D.C. Because I'm not, they taught us how to fight. I mean, there's a real fear, because veterans can get things done. We are very proactive. I think that there's a real fear, not that we could, not only we could save this democracy, but we can actually take it over. I'm in favor personally of having, AJ and Damon, there are ghost towns in the state of New York. I'm sure you guys are aware of that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Why not? Why can't we have a veteran community? Why don't you incentivize veterans to go live in one of these ghost towns and build it up? Because there's a real fear that we will take over this democracy.
Yeah, but brother, that's why we gotta bring you on another show so we can have these conversations, because the amount of money that local, county, state, federal is spending other places, the amount of money they spend to put people in a homeless shelter or mortgages each person. So like we really have to have a conversation instead of being distracted, on the money that they're actually spending, that can help people live a normal life. But they don't want that. Right? They don't want, it look like they don't want homeowners. They just want renters, and they want people to be dependent instead of independent. and doing for themselves and feeling good about themselves, taking care of themselves. So, and that's the veterans too, because the money that they're spending some places could actually be put in the right place, that can help them, but this government craziness is just not working. And sooner or later, the bubble's going to burst, worse than whatever's going on in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Like because people are hurting, and the only thing the government is doing is asking us for more money. I want to raise your taxes. I want to do this. You got to pay this. You got to pay that. You got to pay this. And we're not getting the services.
So can I make a suggestion? So, because we do have a big show,
we got another guest.
Get together and let's reschedule so we can get you on. Yes. Kobe, do you have any last words about this situation? And then we're going to move into our next guest.
My last words is thank you to each and every person. Thank you to this show. Every person that intervened on behalf of my father to make sure that we were able to bury him properly, to make sure that his service was absolutely beautiful and that he was honored as a veteran, as a senior, as a Army veteran that served this country in Germany for many years and gave up his life, gave up the life to my mother as a husband, gave up his life to us as a father, because he was no longer in his right mind enough to be able to be any of those things properly to us. I want to thank everyone that really, because you don't know what his children went through because of it. My mother was holding 2 babies in her hand because my father chose to serve this country.
Right.
So I sympathize and I empathize with anyone that their family members go to serve this country, because we know how we sent them there, but we don't know how we're going to get them when they return back home to us.
That's right.
So I want to emphasize my organization. We will have an arm extension to this from Dare to Be Different Westchester that will address veteran issues going forward. I plan on making sure that those that had a hand in this atrocity, that they will be reprimanded for this. Something has to give. Right. And I will stop until there's a bill with my father's name on it, a street naming after my father, because he was no bum on the street. He was a veteran. He was a senior, someone that served this country with honor and dignity. And he gave it all up. He gave it all up. He lost it all for this country, including his children, his wife, everything. He gave it up to serve this country. So I don't want that to go overlooked like he was nothing. He was more than just that. So I thank you all again.
Thank you, sis, for coming on.
Bless you all, and
let us know. Let us know
my family and my siblings in prayer.
And let us know what we can do to help.
Well, I just want to say, Kobe, we love you. We're sending you and your family healing energy as you move through this.
Thank you.
And thank you for trusting us with your father's memory and with this moment.
Thank you. I appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And Kobe, we'll talk. Brother Megat, we'll talk, because we need to have that conversation for Black veterans, and we need to, and get that data together and see what we could do as a collective, man. We need to do that.
We'll be
thank y'all.
By the City Council meeting at 7 p.m. Join us to demand that Mount Vernon follow state and federal laws protecting officers who contracted COVID-19 during the pandemic. Call 914-665-2300 to sign up to speak, in person or via Zoom. Silence protects failure. President demands accountability. This Valentine's Day, make it sweet with Cupcake Cutie Boutique. They're serving fresh, hand-dipped chocolate-covered strawberries, perfect for date night, gifts, or a treat for yourself. For a limited time, order through DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub, and get 20% off our chocolate-covered strawberries. Love should taste this good. But don't wait, this Valentine's Day deal won't last long. Are you ready to put your brand in front of the people who matter? Black Westchester Magazine is your platform. With over 90,000 monthly website readers and more than 250,000 YouTube viewers every month, we give your business unmatched exposure. From email blasts straight to our subscribers, to video commercials, website promotions, and targeted campaigns, we've got the tools to help you connect, engage, and grow. Whether you're a local business, a national brand, a rising entrepreneur, or just promoting an upcoming event, Black Westchester is where culture, community, and commerce meet. Contact us today or scan the QR code and start building with us. Don't just advertise, be part of the movement, be part of Black Westchester, be Blacktastic. Rep the movement. Get your official Black Westchester merch today. Hoodies, tees, and more at blackwestchestermerch.shop. Where your voice make a statement. Damon K. Jones exposes the lies and challenges the gatekeepers in Black politics in his powerful book, Emotional Politics and Logical Failure. Black America needs fewer emotions and more outcomes. Our communities deserve better. On sale now, get the book or audiobook on Amazon, From the Streets of Westchester to the Heart of Hip Hop. Discover A.J. Woodson's powerful collection. Black Westchester, the origin story. We got our own thing. Hip hop from the 9, 1, 4, and Black Westchester celebrate Black women of Westchester. Available now at blackwestchester.com and on Amazon. Get your copies today. Tolerance is for Cowards by Damon K. Jones. This book is not anti-police, it's pro-community. Discover how the extended policing strategy empowers you to demand real public safety, justice, and accountability from your local police department. Because the Black community deserves good policing. On sale now on Amazon and Audible. Discover Jesus and Divine Black Masculinity by Damon K. Jones. This a bold blueprint to restore faith, manhood, and purpose in Black America. Because the Black community needs good Black men. Available now on Amazon. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and share it with others who need to hear the truth. And for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes access, join the Black Westchester Magazine YouTube membership club today. Your support helps us keep independent Black media strong. Big thank you for the Super Chat support. We appreciate your help in keeping the conversation and independent Black media strong. Black Westchester is the... Thank you for watching another Blacktastic episode of the People Before Politics show. Sunday Rundown, powered by Black Westchester Magazine. We appreciate every single one of you who tuned in, commented, shared the stream, and joined the conversation. Your support is the reason independent Black media continues to thrive and speak truth without fear. Every week, we show up to bring clarity, accountability, and real community insight to the stories that matter. And you show up with us. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or X, we want you to know that your voice, your engagement, and your presence make this platform stronger. Thank you for rocking with Damon K. Jones, A.J. Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as we break down the issues that many outlets ignore. And thank you for supporting a space where Black thought, Black leadership, and Black truth-telling still matter.